Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. Introduction. What if I told you that financial freedom isn't just for the rich? Imagine a life where you never have to stress about bills, where your money grows while you sleep, and your future is secure. Sounds impossible? It's not. No matter where you come from, how much you earn, or what your past looks like, you can master the game of money. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how. Today, I'll walk you through Tony Robbins' life-changing book, Money Master the Game. Robbins spent years interviewing the world's greatest financial minds, billionaires, legendary investors, and economic experts, all to crack the code behind lasting wealth. He's simplified those complex strategies into clear, actionable steps that anyone can follow. By the end of this video, you'll understand the 7 proven steps to financial freedom, get inside knowledge from legends like Warren Buffett and Ray Dalio, and learn how to start building real wealth, even if you're starting small. This isn't theory. It's a tested, step-by-step roadmap to take control of your finances, create lasting independence, and experience true peace of mind. So stick around. Whether you're buried in debt, trying to make ends meet, or ready to take your wealth to the next level, this could be the video that changes your life. Let's dive in. Section 1. Welcome to the money game. Why you must master it. Welcome to the money game. Whether you realize it or not, every single day, you are a player in this game. The problem? Most people are playing blindfolded. They wake up, they work hard, they pay their bills, they stress about debt, and they hope, just hope, that somehow, one day, they'll have enough. But hope is not a strategy. And in the world of money, ignorance is expensive. Here's the truth. Money is a game. And like any game, there are rules, there are strategies, and there are winners and losers. The sad reality is that the vast majority of people never take the time to learn the rules. They stumble through life financially stressed, blaming the economy, their job, or bad luck. But the wealthy, they know the rules of the game, and because they do, they make the game predictable and winnable. Think about it. Would you ever step onto a football field or into a chess tournament without knowing the rules? Of course not. You'd get crushed. Yet when it comes to money, something that affects every single aspect of your life, most people blindly participate without a clue how the system works. But here's the empowering news. Once you understand the rules of the money game, everything changes. You shift from fear to confidence, from reacting to life to designing your financial future, from being a pawn to becoming a player, maybe even a master, in the game of wealth. Let me tell you a quick story that proves this point. You see, even Tony Robbins himself wasn't born understanding the game. Far from it. Growing up, Tony's family struggled. There were nights they didn't know where their next meal would come from. Money was a constant source of stress, fear, and scarcity. For Tony, like many of us, money wasn't just numbers in a bank account. It was a source of pain. But here's what set him apart. He made a decision. Instead of accepting struggle as his fate, he became obsessed with understanding how money works. He devoured books, sought out mentors, and eventually sat down with the world's top financial minds. From Ray Dalio, one of the greatest hedge fund managers, to Warren Buffett, the legendary investor. He realized that wealthy people play by different rules, and those rules can be learned. And that's what we're doing right now. You see, mastering the money game starts with one simple yet powerful shift. You must decide to become financially literate. No one is born knowing how to build wealth, but everyone can learn. It doesn't matter if you failed math in school, if your parents never taught you about money, or if your bank account feels like a joke right now. Financial literacy isn't about your past, it's about your future. Why is this so important? Because when you stay financially blind, you stay stuck. You'll work harder and harder, but feel like you're running on a treadmill going nowhere. You'll be vulnerable to bad advice, hidden fees, and get-rich-quick schemes that leave you worse off than where you started. But when you learn the rules, you flip the script, you take control, you play on offense, not defense. And let me be clear, this isn't about becoming the next Wall Street genius or reading complicated financial charts. It starts simple. Understanding how money grows, how to avoid traps like high fees, how to invest wisely, and how to design a roadmap to your version of financial freedom. That's what Tony Robbins' Money, Master the Game is all about. Simplifying the complex world of wealth so you can win. But here's the deeper truth. Money isn't just about numbers. It's about freedom. It's about options. It's about living life on your terms, providing for your family, pursuing your passions, and creating a legacy. Without mastering the money game, your life choices shrink. With mastery, your world expands. Now, I want you to pause and ask yourself a brutally honest question. Am I playing the money game on offense, or just reacting to life? Are you actively learning, planning, and building your financial future? Or are you stuck in survival mode, hoping for a lucky break? It's okay if the answer humbles you. Most people spend years, even decades, reacting. But that ends today, because awareness is the first step to change. I'll share with you one more insight that Tony Robbins often emphasizes. Success leaves clues. The wealthiest people on the planet weren't all born rich. Many started with nothing, but they became students of the game. They modeled successful investors, they avoided common mistakes, and they played smart, consistent offense with their money. You can do the same. Picture this. Imagine waking up 5 years from now with total peace of mind about your finances. Your investments are growing, your debts are gone, and your money is working harder for you than you are for it. Imagine knowing that no matter what happens, job loss, market crash, unexpected expenses, you're covered because you mastered the money game. That's not a fantasy. That's what happens when you apply the principles we'll cover in this video. It starts with awareness, with a decision, with learning the rules most people ignore. And guess what? You've already taken the first step by being here. So, buckle up. In the next sections, I'll walk you through the exact strategies from Money. Master the game that can transform your finances. The same principles used by billionaires, simplified for everyday people. We'll cover how to save, invest, protect your wealth, and ultimately create the financial independence you deserve. But it all starts here. Understanding that money is a game, and you have the power to learn how to win. Are you ready to stop reacting to life and start playing to win? Let's dive in. Step 1. Make the most important financial decision of your life. Let me ask you a simple but powerful question. Are you working for money? Or is your money working for you? For most people, the answer is painfully obvious. They wake up, go to work, trade their precious hours for a paycheck, pay the bills, and repeat the cycle month after month, year after year. But here's the harsh truth. No one builds real, lasting wealth by trading time for money alone. Wealth isn't just about working harder. It's about ownership. It's about becoming an investor. And that brings us to the first and arguably most important financial decision you will ever make. Deciding to become an investor, not just an earner. Tony Robbins puts this front and center in money. Master the game. He says that while earning money is essential, investing is what separates those stuck in the rat race from those who achieve financial freedom. Why? Because when you invest, your money starts working for you, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you're asleep, on vacation, or spending time with your family. It becomes your silent employee, constantly growing, compounding, and building your wealth behind the scenes. Now, here's the common misconception that holds so many people back. They believe investing is only for the rich. They think, I'll start investing when I have more money. But that mindset guarantees you stay stuck, because the wealthy didn't wait to invest. They became wealthy because they invested, often starting with small amounts. You don't need thousands of dollars to get started. You don't need to be a financial genius. What you need is a decision, a commitment to saving and investing a percentage of every dollar you earn. Starting now, no excuses. Even if it's just $20, $50, or $100 a month, that small, consistent action can change your entire financial future. Let me show you the magic behind this with a real-world example. The undeniable power of compound interest. Albert Einstein famously called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Why? Because when you invest money, not only does your initial investment grow, but over time, your growth earns more growth. It creates a snowball effect, where your wealth accelerates beyond what most people imagine. Imagine this. You decide to invest just $50 a month. Maybe you skip a few dinners out or a fancy coffee habit to make it happen. You invest that $50 into a fund that earns an average return of 8% per year. Nothing extreme, just consistent, steady growth like many index funds have produced over time. After 1 year, you've invested $600, but your account is worth slightly more because of growth. Fast forward 10 years, and that small $50 monthly habit has grown to over $9,000. But here's where it gets exciting. If you keep going for 30 years, that little $50 a month becomes over $75,000. That's the raw, unstoppable power of compound growth. Now imagine what happens if you increase that amount over time as your income grows. Maybe $100 a month, then $300. Eventually, a percentage of every dollar you earn automatically goes to your investments, building your wealth while you sleep. That's how ordinary people become financially free. But let's be real. This requires discipline. It requires breaking free from the consumer trap that tells you to spend every penny on instant gratification. It means prioritizing your future self over your present impulses. And that starts with a mindset shift, seeing yourself not just as a worker, but as an investor. This isn't optional if you want true financial freedom. Because let's face it, your job, no matter how great, has limitations. There are only so many hours you can work. There's only so much your employer will pay. Inflation keeps rising, expenses keep coming, and job security can disappear overnight. But investments? Done right, they keep working no matter what. And in today's world, it has never been easier to start. With countless apps, platforms, and investment options, you can begin building your wealth with just a few taps on your phone. You don't need to be an expert. You need to start. Think about this. If you'd started investing $100 a month 5 years ago, you'd likely already see significant growth today. But here's the empowering truth. It's not too late. The best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is right now. And don't underestimate the emotional impact of this decision. When you start investing, even with small amounts, something changes inside you. You stop feeling powerless about money. You gain confidence. You watch your account grow, your wealth build, and your future shift. It's not just about numbers, it's about control. Tony Robbins emphasizes that becoming an investor is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself and your family. Because with investments comes freedom. Freedom to retire on your terms. Freedom to weather financial storms. Freedom to pursue your passions, rather than being chained to a paycheck for life. But none of this happens by accident. It happens when you commit, fully, unapologetically, to becoming an investor today. Not when you're ready, not when you have more money, but now. So let me challenge you with a powerful question. What percentage of your income will you start investing? Today? Not tomorrow. Not next month. Right now. Even if it's small, even if it feels insignificant, that first step creates momentum. Maybe it's 5% of your paycheck. Maybe it's 10%. Or maybe you start with $50 a month. Whatever it is, automate it, make it non-negotiable. Watch how your mindset shifts, your confidence grows, and your wealth builds over time. Because here's the bottom line. Those who only earn, work hard, and spend will always be stuck chasing money. But those who invest, they build wealth. They gain freedom. They win the game. Decide today to become an investor. Your future self will thank you. Step 2. Know the rules before you enter the game. Imagine stepping onto a playing field, whether it's football, chess, or even a simple board game, without having the slightest clue how the game works. You don't know the rules, you don't know how to score, and you certainly don't know how to win. What are your chances of success? Pretty close to zero. You'd stumble around, make mistakes, get penalized, and probably get taken advantage of by players who know exactly how the game is played. This is exactly how most people approach the world of money. They step into the financial arena completely unprepared, uninformed, and unaware of how the system works. And guess what? The financial industry loves it that way. Here's the harsh truth Tony Robbins exposes in Money. Master the game. The financial industry profits from your ignorance. The less you know, the more they win. Banks, investment firms, insurance companies, they have built entire empires on the back of hidden fees, confusing terms, and overly complicated products designed to overwhelm the average person. But here's the empowering part. Once you understand the rules, you regain control. You stop being the victim and start being the player. Let's break this down with real-world simplicity. One of the biggest traps in the financial world is hidden fees. They may seem small, buried in paperwork, or disguised with fancy language, but over time, they quietly rob you of your hard-earned money. Here's a powerful example. Imagine you invest $100,000 in a retirement fund. You're told the annual fee is 1%. That seems reasonable, right? After all, what's 1%? But let's look at the long game. Over the course of 30 years, that 1% fee can reduce your total investment growth by over $250,000. Why? Because those fees don't just take away from your original investment. They reduce your compound growth year after year, which snowballs into massive losses over time. Now imagine that instead of a 1% fee, you're paying 3%, which isn't uncommon with many actively managed funds, insurance products, or poorly structured retirement plans. That 3% fee could cost you upwards of 50% of your total returns over a lifetime. In other words, you could be working hard, saving diligently, and investing with the best intentions, but quietly losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, simply because you didn't know the rules. This is why Robbins emphasizes financial literacy as your greatest weapon. You must arm yourself with knowledge, so you're not blindly trusting financial advisors, institutions, or flashy products that may not serve your best interests. And one of the first distinctions you need to understand is the difference between active and passive investing. Active investing is when fund managers or advisors attempt to beat the market by frequently buying and selling stocks, timing the market, and making complex decisions on your behalf. They often promise higher returns, but the reality is the vast majority of active managers fail to outperform simple market index funds over the long term. Worse yet, they typically charge higher fees, which eat away at your returns regardless of how well the fund performs. On the other hand, passive investing involves putting your money into index funds or ETFs that simply track the overall market. No fancy maneuvers, no high fees, just consistent, steady growth that mirrors the performance of large established markets like the S&P 500. Historical data shows that passive investing, with its lower costs and predictable structure, often outperforms the vast majority of actively managed funds, especially over decades. But the industry doesn't rush to tell you this, because there's more money to be made when they convince you that complex, high-fee products are your only option. That's why knowledge is power. You must ask the right questions. You must understand where your money is going, what you're paying in fees, and whether your financial advisor truly works for you. And that brings us to one of the most critical concepts Robbins shares: the importance of working with a fiduciary. A fiduciary is legally obligated to act in your best financial interest, providing advice and recommendations that serve you, not their own commissions, bonuses, or incentives. Sadly, many financial advisors are not fiduciaries. They operate under a different, lower standard called the suitability rule, which means they can recommend products that are merely suitable for you, even if they're not the best or most cost-effective option. The result? You could end up paying more, earning less, and being sold products that benefit the advisor more than they benefit you. So, how do you protect yourself? You ask the right questions. You demand transparency. When working with a financial advisor, ask, "Are you a fiduciary? How are you compensated? What are the total fees associated with this investment, including hidden costs? How does this product compare to low-cost index funds?" These questions might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to discussing money in detail. But remember, this is your financial future. Your hard-earned money deserves protection, and you deserve clarity. Understanding these basic rules, fees, active versus passive investing, fiduciaries, and transparency, can be the difference between financial stress and financial freedom. Robbins didn't learn this by accident. He learned it through years of research, interviewing billionaires, and uncovering the secrets the financial elite use to grow their wealth while avoiding costly traps. And you don't have to be a financial expert to apply this knowledge. You simply need to stay curious, ask questions, and never blindly trust the system. The more you understand, the more power you have to build the life you deserve. So, let me leave you with this reflective, possibly uncomfortable question. Are you letting hidden fees silently drain your financial future? Most people are. Most people are losing money every year and don't even realize it, because they never took the time to learn the rules. But you're not most people. You're here, learning, growing, and preparing to play the money game to win. In the next sections, we'll dive deeper into the specific strategies and steps that can help you avoid the traps, maximize your growth, and build lasting wealth. But remember, it all starts with knowledge. The more you know, the less vulnerable you are, and the more control you have over your financial destiny. Know the rules before you enter the game, and you'll never play blind again. Step 3. Make the game winnable. Let's talk about winning. Every game, whether it's football, chess, or even the money game, has one thing in common. There's a finish line. There's a score that tells you when you've won. But when it comes to money, most people play endlessly, without ever defining what winning looks like. They chase more, and more. More hours, more income, more stress, without knowing when enough is enough. That's why Tony Robbins emphasizes this crucial third step in money. Master the game. Make the game winnable. What does that mean? It means defining your financial freedom number, the specific amount of money or income you need to live life on your terms. You see, vague goals produce vague results. If your only goal is to make more money or be rich someday, you'll always feel like you're falling short. You'll never know when you've made enough progress, because there's no target to aim for. But when you have clarity, when you know exactly what it takes to cover your essentials, upgrade your lifestyle, and achieve true financial independence, everything changes. You stop chasing money aimlessly and start working toward a specific, measurable goal. So, how do you make the game winnable? You start by calculating your freedom number. This is the amount of income or assets you need to live comfortably, cover your expenses, and enjoy life without constant financial stress. It's not about becoming a billionaire overnight. It's about designing a life where you have choices, security, and peace of mind. Here's how to break it down. 1. Cover your essentials. First, figure out what it takes to cover your basic needs: housing, food, transportation, healthcare, and utilities. This is your baseline, the amount required to survive and live with dignity. Second, lifestyle upgrades. Next, consider what it takes to enjoy the life you want: travel, hobbies, dining out, entertainment, and those extra comforts that bring you joy. This isn't about extravagance, it's about living life on your terms. 3. True financial independence. Finally, calculate what it takes to never work for money again, unless you choose to. This means having enough investments, passive income, or savings that your money works for you, providing a steady, reliable income for life. When you total these amounts, you'll arrive at your freedom number, the target that makes the game winnable. Here's a real-world example to bring this to life. Imagine a middle-class family with modest dreams. They're not looking to buy yachts or private jets. They simply want to live comfortably, travel occasionally, provide for their children, and retire without fear. At first, they assumed achieving financial freedom would require millions of dollars, an overwhelming, impossible goal. But when they sat down, mapped out their expenses, and calculated their freedom number, they realized the goal was far more attainable than they thought. Their essentials, mortgage, food, transportation, and health care, totaled $4,000 a month. Their desired lifestyle upgrades, travel, dining out, hobbies, added another $2,000 a month. To cover everything comfortably, they needed $6,000 a month in passive income. When they calculated how much invested capital would generate that income, factoring in average market returns and safe withdrawal rates, they discovered they needed roughly $1.2 million invested to cover those expenses indefinitely. It wasn't easy, but it was clear, measurable, and achievable over time. Suddenly, the overwhelming, vague dream of financial freedom transformed into a concrete, winnable game. They had a finish line. They had clarity. And with that clarity came motivation, focus, and a renewed sense of control. Here's the beautiful part. You don't need to wait until you hit your full freedom number to experience progress. Robbins teaches that along the way, you can celebrate milestones, hitting your essentials number, upgrading your lifestyle gradually, building multiple income streams. Each step brings you closer to freedom. But without clarity, the chase never ends. You'll always feel behind. You'll keep working harder, sacrificing more, but never feel satisfied, because you haven't defined what winning looks like. That's why I'm challenging you right now. Do you know your freedom number? Or are you chasing money without a finish line? It's time to get clear. Grab a notebook, your favorite budgeting app, or a simple calculator. Break down your essentials, your lifestyle desires, and your ideal version of financial independence. Don't be afraid of the numbers. Embrace them. Clarity creates power. And here's the mindset shift that makes all the difference. Your freedom number isn't just about money. It's about freedom. It's about waking up each day knowing you have options. You can work because you want to, not because you have to. You can spend time with your loved ones, pursue your passions, travel the world, or simply enjoy peace of mind, because you made the game winnable. Robbins is living proof of this principle. He didn't start with wealth. He started with clarity, a vision of what financial freedom meant to him. And step by step, through learning, investing, and disciplined action, he made that vision a reality. You can too. This step is about transforming your relationship with money. Instead of seeing wealth as an unattainable dream, you start seeing it as a game with clear rules, achievable targets, and a finish line you can cross. Think of it like training for a marathon. You wouldn't just run aimlessly hoping to go far. You'd set a specific distance, map your progress, and celebrate milestones along the way. Financial freedom works the same way. Without a target, your efforts feel endless and frustrating. With a target, your path becomes focused, intentional, and motivating. So, as we move through the next steps of Robbins' financial roadmap, keep your freedom number front and center. It's your guide, your measuring stick, your reason to keep learning and growing. Remember, making the game winnable isn't about comparing yourself to others. It's about defining your version of success, your life, your terms, your freedom. Whether your goal is $1,000 a month in passive income, $10,000, or beyond, the power lies in knowing your number. Once you have that clarity, everything else, saving, investing, building income streams, falls into place with purpose and direction. So, what's your freedom number? Define it, own it, and start making the game winnable. Today. Step 4. Asset allocation. The ultimate wealth-building secret. If you want to build lasting wealth, there's one powerful truth you must embrace. It's not about timing the market. It's about how you divide your money. Most people spend endless hours stressing about which stock to buy, and when to sell. They try to predict the unpredictable. But the smartest investors in the world, people like Ray Dalio and Warren Buffett, know that real wealth isn't built on perfect guesses. It's built on one thing: asset allocation. Tony Robbins calls asset allocation the ultimate wealth-building secret. Why? Because diversification protects you, and smart allocation grows your wealth. Here's why this matters so much. The markets will rise, and the markets will fall. That's a guarantee. No one can predict exactly when, but we know the cycles will come. If you put all your eggs in one basket, one stock, one sector, one investment, you're setting yourself up for disaster. But when you spread your investments across different asset classes, you create a safety net. You minimize your risks and maximize your chances of long-term success. Asset allocation is like building a financial fortress. You design it to withstand storms. You prepare for the inevitable market crashes, recessions, and surprises. You don't build your wealth on hope, you build it on structure. Let's break it down. Asset allocation means spreading your money across different types of investments. Stocks for growth. Bonds for stability and income. Real assets like real estate or commodities for protection against inflation. Cash or cash equivalents for security and liquidity. Each of these asset classes behaves differently in various market conditions. When stocks fall, bonds might rise. When inflation soars, real assets like gold or real estate can hold value. Cash gives you flexibility and safety when you need it most. The magic happens when you combine these assets strategically. You lower your overall risk while still capturing growth over time. Now, one of the most powerful examples Tony Robbins shares is Ray Dalio's all-weather portfolio. Dalio is one of the most successful hedge fund managers in history, and his strategy is built for one purpose: to survive and thrive, no matter what happens in the economy. Dalio's research showed that over decades, markets cycle through 4 seasons. 1. Rising growth. 2. Falling growth. 3. Rising inflation. 4. Falling inflation. Most portfolios are designed to do well in 1 or 2 of these seasons, but the all-weather portfolio is designed to perform reasonably well in all 4. It's balanced to weather storms and still grow steadily over time. Here's a simplified version of Dalio's suggested allocation that Robbins shares in the book. 30% stocks for long-term growth. 40% long-term bonds for stability. 15% intermediate bonds to further reduce volatility. 7.5% gold as protection against inflation. 7.5% commodities as a hedge against inflation and falling markets. Now, this isn't a one-size-fits-all solution, but it's an excellent starting point for understanding what diversified, thoughtful asset allocation looks like. It's not about swinging for home runs. It's about creating a structure that can handle the good times and the bad. When you're properly allocated, you stop living on the emotional roller coaster of market ups and downs. You stop panicking when the market drops 10% in a day. You stop gambling on one hot stock to make you rich overnight. Instead, you create a calm, steady growth path. You build wealth slowly, consistently, and wisely. You shift from reactive to proactive. And here's where most people go wrong. They either over-concentrate in one type of asset, like loading up entirely on stocks, or they bounce around trying to chase trends. Neither works. Without balance, you're either overly exposed to risk or missing out on growth opportunities. Let me give you a real-world story. During the 2008 financial crisis, many investors saw their portfolios cut in half. Why? They were heavily concentrated in stocks or real estate, and when those markets crashed, they had nowhere to hide. But those who followed Dalio's type of diversified strategy, with bonds, gold, and cash buffers, experienced far smaller losses, or even preserved most of their wealth, because their portfolios were designed to survive storms, not just sunny days. When you adopt this mindset, you realize that you don't need to predict the next crash. You need to prepare for it. Crashes will happen. Corrections will happen. Recessions will happen. The question is, will your portfolio survive? So how do you apply this in your own life? Start by looking at your current investments. Are you overexposed to just one asset class, like all stocks or all real estate? Are you ignoring safer assets like bonds or cash? Are you diversified across industries, countries, and types of investments? Even if you're just starting out, you can build diversified exposure through index funds, ETFs, and target date retirement funds that automatically balance your investments based on your timeline. You can slowly add exposure to bonds, real assets, and international markets. And remember, your asset allocation should evolve as you age. Younger investors can typically afford to take more risk with higher stock allocations because they have time to recover from downturns. As you get closer to retirement, shifting to safer, more stable allocations helps protect what you've built. One key lesson from Robbins is this: you don't have to do this alone. You can model the strategies of the best. You can automate your investments through balanced portfolios offered by low-cost providers. You can seek the guidance of fiduciary advisors who align with your goals, not their commissions. But whether you do it yourself or with help, the essential question remains: is your portfolio designed to survive storms, or is it riding on hope? Hope is not a strategy. The markets will challenge you. Inflation will erode purchasing power. Economic cycles will test your patience. But when you have the right asset allocation, you're not just surviving. You're positioned to thrive, no matter the season. Think of asset allocation like building a ship. If you build it well, it can sail through calm waters and fierce storms alike. It might not be the fastest ship, but it will reach its destination. That's the power of diversification. That's the wisdom of asset allocation. And that's why, in the money game, it's not about swinging for home runs. It's about staying in the game long enough to win. So, look at your portfolio today. Are you diversified? Are you balanced? Are you protected? Or are you exposed to risks you don't even see yet? The game isn't just about growth. It's about survival and long-term wealth. Design your portfolio like a fortress, and you'll build a future you can count on. Step 5. Create a lifetime income plan. Imagine for a moment waking up every day, knowing that no matter what happens in the stock market, no matter what political crisis explodes on the news, and no matter what global event rocks the economy, you're still getting paid. That's the kind of peace of mind most people dream of, but few actually achieve. Why? Because they've spent their lives focusing only on building wealth, not building income. And wealth without reliable income is like having a flashy car with no fuel in the tank. It looks good from the outside, but it won't take you anywhere. Tony Robbins emphasizes this life-changing principle in money. Master the game. Security doesn't come from how much money you have in the bank. It comes from knowing your income is guaranteed, regardless of market swings. Here's the hard truth. Market crashes will happen. Recessions will come. Stocks will fall. Real estate will wobble. And even the most carefully crafted investment portfolio can lose value, temporarily or sometimes for years. But your bills, they keep coming. Your lifestyle? It still costs money. Without reliable, consistent income, your wealth and your peace of mind can evaporate overnight. That's why creating a lifetime income plan isn't optional. It's essential. If your goal is financial freedom, your strategy must include income streams that pay you month after month, year after year, no matter what the markets do. So how do you build this kind of income? You diversify your streams. You design a portfolio and a lifestyle where multiple sources of income flow into your life. Here are some of the most powerful tools the wealthy and the wise use to create guaranteed or reliable income. 1. Annuities. One of the most misunderstood yet effective tools for lifetime income is the annuity. At its core, an annuity is a contract with an insurance company where you exchange a lump sum of money for a guaranteed income stream, often for life. Some annuities even offer inflation protection or market participation with downside protection. While not all annuities are created equal, and some come with high fees or confusing terms, the right annuity, used strategically, can become a powerful pillar of your income plan. It's like creating your own personal pension, providing steady, predictable income even in volatile markets. Second, rental properties. Real estate, when done right, can offer a consistent flow of rental income. Whether it's residential homes, apartments, or commercial spaces, owning property that produces rent is one of the oldest and most reliable income strategies. The bonus? Over time, property values may appreciate, adding to your overall wealth. Of course, real estate isn't passive. There are tenants, maintenance, and market fluctuations to consider. But with proper management, or by hiring professionals, rental properties can be a cornerstone of lifetime income. Third, dividend-paying stocks. Dividend stocks are companies that distribute a portion of their profits back to shareholders in the form of regular payments. These dividends can provide steady, often growing income streams, especially when reinvested early on and harvested later for retirement. The key is selecting stable, established companies with a history of reliable dividend payments, what investors often call dividend aristocrats. This approach offers both income and the potential for long-term growth. 4. Business and royalties. Some people create income streams by building businesses that run independently of their day-to-day involvement. Others earn royalties from intellectual property like books, music, or patents. While this requires effort up front, these income streams can continue flowing long after the initial work is done. 5. Bonds and fixed income products. Bonds provide regular interest payments and can add stability to your income plan, especially for conservative investors. Municipal bonds, corporate bonds, and government-backed securities can all play a role in producing dependable cash flow. The most successful investors and retirees blend several of these income sources, creating layers of security that aren't dependent on a single investment, market trend, or economic condition. Let me share a real-world example that illustrates the power of having a lifetime income plan. Picture John, a 65-year-old retiree who spent decades working hard, saving diligently, and investing wisely. But unlike many of his peers, John didn't just accumulate wealth, he structured it to pay him regardless of market conditions. John has a diversified portfolio that includes a guaranteed income stream from an annuity that covers his essential monthly expenses, rental properties generating steady rental income, a basket of dividend-paying stocks providing additional cash flow, some cash reserves for emergencies and flexibility. When the market crashed unexpectedly, many of John's friends panicked. They worried about selling investments at a loss to cover basic needs. But John, he slept like a baby. His guaranteed income from the annuity covered his bills. His rental income kept flowing. His dividends continued arriving. He didn't have to sell off assets at the wrong time. He didn't have to dip into savings prematurely. His lifetime income plan allowed him to weather the storm with peace of mind. That's the power of this step. It transforms fear into confidence. It replaces uncertainty with stability. You stop worrying about market swings and start living with the assurance that your income keeps flowing, no matter what. But here's the critical takeaway. Building a lifetime income plan doesn't happen by accident. You must design it intentionally. You must assess your current resources, explore the right income-producing strategies for your goals, and take action before the next economic storm hits. Even if you're young and retirement feels decades away, thinking this way now gives you a massive advantage. You can begin building multiple streams early, reinvest income, and let the compounding effect create a stronger, more reliable foundation for the future. And if you're approaching retirement or already there, it's never too late to restructure your finances to prioritize guaranteed or predictable income. The peace of mind it brings is worth every effort. So, let me ask you the reflective question that Robbins poses. Will your income keep flowing, no matter what the markets do? If your answer is uncertain, now is the time to take control. Start exploring annuities, rental income, dividend strategies, or other income-producing avenues. Work with a fiduciary advisor to design a plan tailored to your life, your needs, and your dreams. Remember, true financial freedom isn't just about wealth, it's about security. It's about knowing that your income is built to last, even when the world feels unpredictable. Create your lifetime income plan today, and sleep peacefully, knowing your future is protected. Step 6. Invest like the wealthy. When it comes to money, most people struggle because they're trying to figure it all out on their own. They bounce from one hot stock tip to another, follow sensational headlines, or fall prey to so-called gurus promising overnight riches. But here's the truth: the wealthy understand, and what Tony Robbins emphasizes in Money. Master the game. Success leaves clues. If you want to win the money game, stop guessing, stop gambling, and start modeling the masters. The world's top investors, people like Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, John Bogle, didn't stumble into success by luck. They followed specific principles that created wealth, stability, and consistent growth over decades. And the good news? They've shared those principles with the world. You just have to pay attention. So why reinvent the wheel when you can stand on the shoulders of giants? Think about it like this. If you wanted to become an elite athlete, you'd study champions. You'd model their training routines, mindsets, and techniques. Investing works the same way. The wealthy have already paved the path. You just need to follow it. Let's break down the core principles the masters use to grow wealth and reduce risk, starting with one of the most legendary investors of all time, Warren Buffett. Buffett, often called the Oracle of Omaha, is known for his incredible long-term success, building billions of dollars through a simple, disciplined approach. Despite the complexities of the financial world, his advice to everyday investors is remarkably straightforward. Buy a low-cost index fund and hold it forever. Let that sink in. The man regarded as one of the greatest investors in history isn't telling you to chase hot stocks, time the market, or dive into complicated strategies. He's telling you to keep it simple. Index funds track the performance of a broad market, like the S&P 500, which represents the 500 largest U.S. companies. Instead of betting on individual companies, you invest in the entire market. History shows that over time, markets rise, economies grow, and those who stay invested win. In fact, Buffett has even made a public wager, betting that a simple S&P 500 index fund would outperform most hedge funds and professional money managers over time. And guess what? He won. The index fund beat the majority of active managers, proving once again that simplicity, patience, and discipline often outperform complexity. But Buffett isn't the only master leaving clues. Let's talk about Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates, one of the world's largest hedge funds. Dalio's philosophy revolves around diversification, balance, and protecting against uncertainty. His all-weather portfolio is designed to perform reasonably well in any economic environment by spreading investments across asset classes like stocks, bonds, commodities, and gold. Dalio teaches that no one, not even the experts, can perfectly predict market cycles. Instead of trying to time the market, he builds portfolios designed to survive downturns and thrive over the long term. His approach emphasizes preparation over prediction. Another giant worth modeling is John Bogle, founder of Vanguard and the pioneer of low-cost index funds. Bogle's mission was simple: make investing accessible, affordable, and effective for everyone, not just the wealthy elite. He understood that fees are one of the biggest threats to building wealth, and that keeping costs low dramatically increases your long-term returns. Bogle's philosophy mirrors Buffett's: invest in broad market index funds, minimize fees, stay the course, and let time work its magic. Now, here's the reality. The wealthy aren't chasing fads or risking everything on the latest cryptocurrency or stock tip from social media. They're playing the long game. They prioritize long-term thinking. They don't panic during market crashes. They see downturns as opportunities, not disasters. Value investing. They focus on buying assets that are undervalued or have strong fundamentals rather than chasing hype. Low-cost funds. They minimize fees, knowing that small costs compound into massive losses over decades. Patience and discipline. They allow time, not emotion, to drive their decisions. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need millions to apply these principles. You can start with $50, $100, or whatever amount fits your situation. What matters is consistency, clarity, and the courage to follow proven strategies instead of getting distracted by noise. But let me ask you, are you copying the rich or following random financial advice? Most people, without realizing it, chase shiny objects, jump in and out of the market, or follow advice from unqualified sources. The result? Emotional roller coasters, lost money, and shattered confidence. But when you model the masters, you flip the script. You gain clarity, reduce risk, and position yourself for long-term success. You stop trying to outsmart the market and start aligning with what works. Think of investing like planting a tree. You don't dig it up every week to check its roots. You plant it, water it, protect it, and let it grow. The same applies to your investments. Buy smart, diversify wisely, minimize costs, and stay invested. Tony Robbins reminds us that success isn't about brilliance. It's about following a proven system. Even if you don't consider yourself financially savvy, you can still build wealth by modeling those who've already done it. Let me share another real-world story to drive this home. During the 2008 financial crisis, millions of people panicked. They sold their investments at rock-bottom prices, locking in losses and delaying their recovery. But those who followed the Buffett-Bogle-Dalio philosophy, who stayed invested, remained diversified, and ignored short-term fear, recovered and, in many cases, doubled or tripled their wealth in the following years. The lesson? Wealth isn't built in moments of hype. It's built in moments of discipline. It's forged by those who have the patience to stay the course when others give up. And it starts with a choice. You can keep guessing, gambling, and hoping, or you can model the wealthy. Take a look at your current strategy. Are you following proven principles? Are you invested in low-cost index funds? Are you diversified? Are you thinking long-term? Or are you riding the waves of speculation and emotion? The money game isn't about luck. It's about learning from those who've already mastered it. Model the masters. Invest like the wealthy. And watch how your financial future transforms, one disciplined step at a time. Step 7. The psychology of wealth. Building wealth isn't just about strategies, investment portfolios, or financial knowledge. It's also about mastering your inner game, the mindset, beliefs, and emotional patterns that ultimately shape your financial destiny. As Tony Robbins makes clear in Money, master the game. Wealth starts in your mind long before it shows up in your bank account. Here's the truth most financial experts overlook. People can earn a six-figure income, even millions, and still feel broke, stressed, and unfulfilled. That's because money problems often have less to do with income and more to do with the psychological patterns driving your decisions. Think about it. Why do lottery winners often end up bankrupt? Why do high earners sometimes live paycheck to paycheck? It's because they never upgraded their internal blueprint for wealth. They never rewired their beliefs about money, success, and abundance. If you don't master your mindset, you'll sabotage your own financial growth, consciously or unconsciously. Fear will paralyze you. Scarcity thinking will keep you small. Limiting beliefs will convince you that wealth is out of reach, reserved for other people. But here's the empowering reality. You can change your psychology, and when you do, your financial results will follow. Tony Robbins himself is a living testament to this principle. He didn't grow up with wealth. In fact, he came from poverty, uncertainty, and emotional chaos. His early life was marked by instability, hunger, and the constant stress of not knowing how the bills would get paid. But instead of letting those circumstances define him, he chose to rewrite his story. Robbins made a decision early on to master his mind first, knowing that external success would follow. He devoured books on psychology, success, and personal development. He surrounded himself with mentors, studied human behavior, and conditioned himself to believe that he could create a life of abundance, even when his reality screamed otherwise. Over time, that inner transformation fueled massive action. Robbins went from being a broke janitor to building an empire that has impacted millions worldwide. His success wasn't luck. It was the result of shifting his mental blueprint from scarcity to abundance, from fear to confidence. And the same is possible for you. No matter your background, income level, or past mistakes, you can reprogram your beliefs, behaviors, and emotional patterns to align with wealth. Here are a few powerful ways to start. 1. Identify your limiting money beliefs. We all carry unconscious beliefs about money, many of which were shaped in childhood. Maybe you heard phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," "Rich people are greedy," "You have to work hard just to survive." These beliefs sink deep into your subconscious and quietly influence your decisions. They can make you feel guilty for wanting more, fearful of success, or convinced that wealth is unattainable. The first step to change is awareness. Ask yourself, what money beliefs did I inherit? And are they serving me or holding me back? 2. Rewire your patterns through visualization and conditioning. Robbins teaches that repetition is the mother of skill. To shift your financial psychology, you must immerse yourself daily in empowering thoughts, images, and emotions. Visualization is a powerful tool for this. Picture your ideal financial life. Imagine how it feels to be debt-free, financially secure, and abundant. The more vividly you experience success in your mind, the more your subconscious accepts it as possible and begins guiding your actions accordingly. 3. Take bold action despite fear. Wealth rarely grows in your comfort zone. Fear will always be present. Fear of investing, fear of losing money, fear of failure. But successful people don't wait for fear to disappear. They act boldly in the face of uncertainty. Robbins calls this turning fear into fuel. When you use fear as a motivator rather than a barrier, you accelerate your growth. 4. Surround yourself with abundance thinkers. Environment shapes psychology. If you constantly engage with people who complain about money, blame circumstances, or believe wealth is impossible, their scarcity mindset will infect you. But if you surround yourself with ambitious, growth-oriented, abundance-focused individuals, their energy elevates yours. Find mentors, join communities, or consume content that expands your vision of what's possible. 5. Celebrate progress, not just perfection. Many people sabotage themselves by focusing only on how far they still have to go, rather than how far they've already come. Celebrate small wins, saving your first $100, making your first investment, learning a new wealth strategy. Progress builds momentum, and momentum builds confidence. It's also important to understand that wealth isn't just about numbers, it's about emotions. What we're really after isn't stacks of cash. It's the feelings we believe money will bring: security, freedom, peace of mind, joy. By cultivating those emotions now, regardless of your current bank balance, you align yourself energetically with abundance. Let me ask you a simple, powerful question Robbins poses. What money beliefs are holding you back, and how will you rewrite your story? Your financial story isn't set in stone. Every limiting belief can be replaced with an empowering one. Every fear can be transformed into courage. Every scarcity mindset can evolve into an abundance mindset. For example, imagine someone who grew up hearing, "Money is hard to come by." That belief creates a reality of struggle and scarcity. But by consciously rewriting that story, adopting the belief that opportunities for wealth are everywhere, they open themselves to new possibilities. They take risks, seize opportunities, and grow their financial life as a result. This isn't magic, it's psychology. Your mind is your most powerful financial tool, and when you master it, the external results will follow. In the final steps of Robbins' blueprint, you'll learn more technical strategies: asset allocation, income planning, investment models. But remember this: without the right mindset, even the best strategies fail. Wealth is 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. Master your mind, and you'll master your money. So today, take inventory of your inner game. Reflect on your money beliefs. Reprogram your mental patterns. Surround yourself with abundance. Visualize your success daily. And most importantly, take bold, consistent action. Because that's how true wealth is built, from the inside out. The psychology of wealth is your foundation. Strengthen it, and the financial freedom you desire becomes inevitable. Section 2. The Power of Giving. Wealth Beyond Money. Let's take a moment to zoom out from the spreadsheets, stock charts, and retirement calculators. Because while mastering money is essential for security and freedom, true wealth goes beyond dollars and cents. As Tony Robbins says in Money, "Master the game. The secret to living is giving." Most people chase financial success with the belief that when they have enough, they'll finally feel fulfilled. But how often have you heard stories of millionaires and billionaires who, despite their wealth, feel empty? That's because money, without meaning, becomes just another possession, a number on a screen that lacks the power to ignite your soul. Here's the truth Robbins teaches over and over. Contribution is the ultimate purpose of wealth. When you give, whether it's your time, resources, energy, or money, you connect to something bigger than yourself. You shift from accumulation to impact. You realize that fulfillment doesn't come from what you get. It comes from what you give. But giving isn't just about charity for the wealthy. It's a mindset and practice that anyone at any stage can embrace. In fact, some of the most generous people Robbins has met are not yet financially free. They're people who understand that generosity is a cause of abundance, not just the result of it. Let's be clear. Giving isn't limited to writing massive checks or creating foundations, though those are powerful expressions of contribution. Giving includes your time, your energy, your talents, your attention. It's helping someone in need, mentoring others, volunteering, supporting a cause you believe in, or simply lifting someone's spirits. The beauty of contribution is that it's available to everyone, regardless of your current bank balance. And ironically, the act of giving often accelerates your own success. Here's why. 1. Contribution creates emotional wealth. When you give, you experience emotions like gratitude, joy, and connection, feelings that no amount of money can buy. These emotions elevate your energy, your outlook, and your sense of possibility. A grateful heart is an abundant heart, and abundance attracts more opportunities, relationships, and resources. 2. Giving destroys scarcity thinking. Many people wait to give until they have enough. But that mindset keeps them stuck. They operate from fear, believing there's not enough to go around. But when you give, even in small ways, you send a powerful message to your subconscious. I live in abundance. There's always more where that came from. This rewires your brain for prosperity. 3. Contribution builds connection. Wealth isn't just about personal success. It's about community, impact, and relationships. Generosity strengthens your network, deepens your bonds, and aligns you with people and causes that elevate your life. One of the most inspiring real-world examples comes from Robbins' own journey. You see, Tony didn't grow up wealthy. In fact, he experienced poverty so severe that his family often didn't know where their next meal would come from. One Thanksgiving, a stranger knocked on the door with bags of food, a simple act of kindness that forever changed Robbins' life. That moment ignited a lifelong mission within him. He vowed that when he was able, he would give back, and not just occasionally, but massively. Fast forward to today. Robbins has fed over 900 million meals through his partnership with Feeding America and his own foundation. His goal? To reach over 1 billion meals served. But what's even more powerful is that Robbins didn't wait until he was wealthy to start giving. Even when he was struggling, he made generosity a priority. He shared what he had, sometimes a few dollars, sometimes his time or energy, and he discovered that contribution isn't reserved for the rich. It's a practice available to anyone, at any moment. And as Robbins explains, that consistent act of giving created a powerful ripple effect. His mindset shifted from scarcity to abundance. His confidence grew. Opportunities expanded. And as he gave more, he received more. Not just financially, but emotionally, spiritually, and relationally. That's the paradox of wealth. The more you give, the more fulfilled, and often the more prosperous you become. Think of it like this. Money is energy. When you hoard it, that energy stagnates. When you circulate it, through giving, investing, supporting others, you keep the flow alive. You contribute to the world, and the world contributes back to you. So let me ask you the question that Robbins poses, one that could transform your relationship with money and fulfillment. Are you waiting to have enough to give, or are you starting now? Waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect income level, or the perfect situation is a trap. If you don't cultivate generosity when you have little, you won't magically become generous when you have more. Generosity is a muscle. You strengthen it through action. Start small. Maybe it's donating $5 to a cause you care about. Maybe it's buying a coffee for someone struggling. Maybe it's volunteering an hour of your time or sharing your skills with someone in need. The amount isn't what matters. The act, the intention, and the shift in mindset do. Over time, as you grow financially, your capacity to give grows too. But the foundation of fulfillment is laid through consistent, intentional acts of contribution, regardless of where you are on your wealth journey. This step is a reminder that wealth is holistic. It's not just numbers on a statement. It's about meaning, impact, and leaving the world better than you found it. True wealth includes financial security, but also emotional richness, deep relationships, and a life infused with purpose. And here's the beautiful irony. Focusing on contribution often accelerates your financial goals. You attract new relationships, open doors of opportunity, and create goodwill that money alone can't buy. Giving doesn't diminish your wealth. It amplifies it. Robbins often says, "Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure." And fulfillment comes from knowing your life made a difference, from recognizing that your wealth, whether great or small, became a tool for positive change. So as you master the practical steps to financial freedom, saving, investing, allocating assets, don't forget the deeper reason behind it all. Wealth is a tool. Contribution is the purpose. When you align the two, you experience the highest level of success, a life of meaning, impact, and abundance. Start giving now. Not later, not someday, today. Because the secret to living truly is giving. Section 3. Real-world success stories. Proof that it works. It's one thing to read about financial principles, strategies, and wealth-building frameworks. It's another to see them in action, transforming the lives of ordinary people just like you. One of the most powerful messages from Tony Robbins' Money, Master the Game, is this. This isn't just theory. It works. Across the world, people from every background, employees, entrepreneurs, young adults, retirees, are using these exact steps to break free from financial stress, build wealth, and create lives filled with freedom and security. They're not trust fund babies. They're not born into privilege. They're individuals who decided to take control, follow a proven path, and commit to financial mastery. You see, success leaves clues, and when you follow those clues, your results change dramatically. Robbins doesn't just preach ideas. His work is built on decades of studying, interviewing, and modeling the most successful investors and wealth builders on the planet. But the real beauty? You don't have to be a billionaire or financial expert to apply these steps. Ordinary people are doing it, and so can you. Take the story of Jake and Lisa, for example. Just 10 years ago, they were drowning in debt. Over $70,000 in student loans, car payments, and credit cards. Like many, they were stuck in the cycle of working hard, earning decent money, but never getting ahead. Financial stress dominated their conversations, and they believed wealth was only for other people. But everything changed when they stumbled upon Robbins' work. Inspired by the principles of money, Master the Game, they decided to take radical ownership of their finances. First, they made the most important financial decision: to become investors, not just earners. They committed to saving and investing a fixed percentage of their income, starting small but staying consistent. At first, it was just 5% of their earnings, but they gradually increased it over time. Next, they educated themselves on the rules of the game. They learned how hidden fees, poor investment choices, and lack of diversification could silently drain their wealth. Instead of following random advice or chasing hot stocks, they modeled the wealthy, investing primarily in low-cost index funds, diversifying their assets, and focusing on long-term growth. They also got crystal clear on their freedom number, the specific amount they needed to cover their essentials, enjoy their desired lifestyle, and achieve true financial independence. Having that clarity gave them purpose, motivation, and a clear finish line. Asset allocation became their safety net. Instead of gambling everything on one asset class, they diversified across stocks, bonds, real estate, and cash reserves. They even followed Ray Dalio's all-weather principles to protect themselves during economic downturns. As they grew their portfolio, they built reliable income streams, rental properties that generated passive income, dividend-paying stocks, and eventually, guaranteed income products to secure their long-term stability. But perhaps the most critical shift? Their mindset. They rewired their money beliefs, let go of scarcity thinking, and embraced an abundance-driven approach to wealth. Fast forward a decade, and Jake and Lisa have not only paid off their debt, but also built a robust investment portfolio that covers their living expenses. They no longer work because they have to. They work because they choose to. Their time is their own. Their stress about money is gone. They are, by all definitions, financially free. But their story isn't unique. Around the world, thousands of people are replicating this process. There's Sarah, a single mom who once struggled to make ends meet. After applying the principles from Robbins's book, she automated her savings, invested consistently, even with small amounts, and within 8 years built a 6-figure investment portfolio, providing her family with security she never thought possible. Or Mark, an entrepreneur who built a business but neglected his personal finances. When the market shifted, his income dried up, but thanks to smart asset allocation and diversified investments modeled after the wealthy, his portfolio continued growing, cushioning him from disaster. Or Priya, a young professional in her 20s, who chose to master her financial literacy early. She started investing just $100 a month in low-cost index funds, prioritized financial education, and now, in her early 30s, has more saved and invested than most people twice her age. These success stories share a common thread. They didn't wait for the perfect moment to start. They didn't wait until they were wealthy. They started small, stayed consistent, and followed the proven path outlined by the masters. Here's the key. Wealth isn't reserved for the elite. It's built by ordinary people making extraordinary decisions. Decisions rooted in clarity, consistency, and courage. Tony Robbins often says, "It's not about resources, it's about resourcefulness." You don't need massive capital to begin. You need the willingness to learn, the discipline to act, and the patience to let time and compounding work their magic. And let's not forget, the journey isn't just about numbers. The real reward is the peace of mind, the freedom, and the ability to live life on your terms. It's about eliminating the constant stress that comes from living paycheck to paycheck. It's about creating choices for your future, your family, and your legacy. So, I'll leave you with the most important question of all. What's stopping you from becoming the next success story? Is it fear? Lack of knowledge? Waiting for the right time? Remember, every success story started with uncertainty. Every financially free person was once a beginner, filled with doubts, but willing to take action anyway. The difference between those who thrive and those who stay stuck isn't luck, it's commitment. It's the decision to stop drifting through life, to stop playing defense, and to start mastering the money game with intentionality and courage. The steps are clear. Become an investor, not just an earner. Understand the rules, fees, advisors, Diversification. Make the game winnable with clear financial targets. Allocate assets wisely to protect and grow wealth. Build lifetime income streams that weather any storm. Model the masters. Follow proven strategies. Master your mindset. The inner game drives the outer results. And contribute, because true wealth includes impact and meaning. These aren't lofty ideas. They're actionable, proven steps that real people just like you are using to transform their financial reality. So, the only question left is, will you be the next success story? Because the opportunity is here. The blueprint exists. Your financial freedom is waiting. It's time to claim it. Conclusion. We've covered a lot today, from understanding that money is a game with rules to the 7 proven steps Tony Robbins lays out for achieving true financial freedom. But let's pause for a moment and bring it all together, because here's the final, most critical truth. The journey to financial freedom is simple, but it demands action. It's not about being a genius with numbers. It's not about luck or being born into wealth. It's about making clear, consistent decisions, small steps taken every day that lead to massive change over time. But knowledge alone changes nothing. You can read every book, watch every video, and understand every strategy. But if you don't take action, your life stays the same. Robbins reminds us that it's not what you know, it's what you do that shapes your financial destiny. So let's recap your roadmap to financial freedom. Step 1. Become an investor, not just an earner. Let your money work for you 24/7. Step 2. Know the rules. Understand fees, advisors, and the financial industry. Step 3. Make the game winnable. Define your freedom number. Step 4. Allocate your assets wisely to grow wealth and protect against risk. Step 5. Create a lifetime income plan. Design income streams that keep flowing. Step 6. Model the wealthy. Follow proven, simple strategies. Step 7. Master your mindset. The inner game drives your results. Step 8. Never forget the power of giving. True wealth includes contribution. These steps work. Ordinary people are already transforming their lives with them. The only question left is, what will you do next? The future belongs to those who decide to master the game. Will you play to win, or sit on the sidelines? If you're ready to take control, like this video. Comment below with your biggest insight. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe for more life-changing financial wisdom.